इसलिए वापस करना।
ठीक ठीक। तो आज का जो सेशन हमारा गर्भ संस्कार का वो पोस्ट नेटल केयर है। और पोस्ट नेटल केयर ये जो वर्ड है इसका मीनिंग ये होता है कि एक बार डिलीवरी हो गई तो क्या क्या करना है। ठीक है, तो एक बार बेबी हैज कम आउट, नाउ व्हाट एल्स इज टू बी डन, उसको कहते हैं पोस्ट नेटल केयर। ठीक, तो इसमें मैंने ऑलरेडी लिखे हैं क्या चैप्टर्स हैं, हमको क्या क्या पॉइंट्स हैं जो कवर करने होंगे। ठीक है, सो फर्स्ट एस्पेक्ट इज डिलीवरी, है ना। तो लेट्स गो वन बाय वन। तो डिलीवरी में इस चैप्टर में इन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया है कि क्या क्या घटना होती है, हाउ डू वी नो दैट द लेडी इज रेडी फॉर डिलीवरी। तो उसमें उन्होंने बहुत डिटेल में डिस्क्राइब किया है कि डिलीवरी मीन्स व्हाट, हाउ डज इट लुक, है ना, क्या क्या होता है, एक लेडी को कहाँ कहाँ दर्द होता है, हाउ डज द लेबर पेन लुक लाइक। ठीक है, तो लेबर पेन कैसा दिखता है, ठीक है, ये बताया है उन्होंने इसमें। और फिर ये भी बताया है कि कैसे इस लेबर के प्रोसेस में धीरे पहले बहुत पेन होगा, उसके बाद धीरे धीरे दे माइट बी वाटर बर्स्ट, जिसमें पानी निकलता है, थोड़ा स्टिकी लिक्विड निकलता है, एंड देन यू कैन वेरी मच से दैट यू आर रेडी फॉर द एक्टिव डिलीवरी और एक्टिव लेबर, सॉरी। ठीक है, तो ये सारा चीज इसमें बताया है कि डिलीवरी में लेबर पेन कैसा होता है। ठीक है, फिर उसमें ये बताया कि इसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट फेज क्या है कि बेबी का बाहर निकलना एंड साथ में प्लेसेंटा का बाहर निकलना। ठीक है, तो प्लेसेंटा भी बाहर निकलना चाहिए आफ्टर द बेबी हैज कम आउट। ठीक है, अगर प्लेसेंटा किसी कारण से अंदर डिटैच नहीं हो पा रहा है तो ऐसी स्टेट में थोड़ी सी इमरजेंसी कंडीशन हो जाती है कि इसमें बेसिकली ब्लीडिंग होते रहता है। ठीक है, तो इसीलिए ये जो पूरा प्रोसेस है बहुत ही, जिसको बोलते हैं तत्परता के साथ करना होता है। सो द डॉक्टर हु इज एक्चुअली कंडक्टिंग द डिलीवरी हैज टू बी वेरी वेरी अलर्ट, पेशेंट, ठीक है, एंड तुरंत एक्शन। So all these three things are required for a wonderful delivery to happen. ठीक है, एंड इसी के संदर्भ में मैं आपके साथ शेयर करूंगी about the story of how the midwives used to do in India. And this is basically मेरी खुद की जो फ्रेंड है जो आज के डेट में she herself is an Ayurvedic doctor, and उसकी जो नानी है, her grandmother is a dai. Grandmother is still alive. I think she's around 90 years old. So her grandmother is a dai. So my friend, when she came down to practicing and she, started dealing with deliveries and all of that, she once asked her nani. Okay, she said, "Nani, tell me how you will do delivery in shoulder dystocia," which means कि it is a condition in which कि बेबी का सिर नहीं होता है नीचे, बल्कि उसका जो शोल्डर होता है वो फंस जाता है। ठीक है, और ये अकॉर्डिंग टू मॉडर्न साइंस इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डिलीवर सच अ बेबी, और ऐसे कंडीशन में सिजेरियन करना पड़ता है। तो उसकी जो नानी है वो बोली, अरे बेटा उसमें पता क्या करना है, उंगली घुसाओ और बेबी को टर्न करो फ्रॉम द हैंड, और हैंड से टर्न करने के बाद फिर उसको जो है तुम सिर से निकाल सकती हो। So another such conversation which she had with her, several such conversations that she had, and she was like, अरे वाह, मेरी नानी को तो ये सब पता है। ठीक है, तो बस नानी को वो टेक्निकल लैटिन वर्ड नहीं पता है, वो इंग्लिश वर्ड नहीं पता है, बट वो कंडीशन की पूरी जानकारी है। So that is how my friend then was able to actually deliver a baby जो actually बड़ा complex case था, but because she had so many conversations with her grandma who is a dai, she was able to implement many of those things while doing the delivery. तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि ये जो दाई सिस्टम है ये काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए किसी भी कंट्री में अगर हमें मैटरनल हेल्थ चाहिए। ठीक है, क्या चीज है? दिस इज द मिडवाइफरी सिस्टम. Midwifery. If the midwifery system is not strong in a country, then the maternal health actually goes down. ठीक है, तो आजकल बहुत सारे कंट्रीज, स्पेशली इन यूरोप, इन कनाडा, जो मिडवाइफरी सिस्टम है, that is being strengthened. They are running separate courses for it. They are encouraging to have birthing at home itself. ठीक है, so this is just to let you know कि कैसे हम अपनी skillfulness बढ़ाते हैं. तो डिलीवरी का जो प्रोसेस है, जिसमें बहुत अलर्टनेस चाहिए, अडेप्टनेस चाहिए, ये सारी चीजें संभव हो सकती है. ठीक है, so in this chapter they have talked about what could be the reasons for undergoing an operation. ठीक है, तो इस चैप्टर में इन्होंने ये भी बताया है कि कौन सी कंडीशन में ऑपरेशन करना पड़ता है. ठीक है, तो जैसे मैंने अभी एक एग्जांपल लिया, वो है कि शोल्डर फंस जाता है बेबी का, या फिर सेकंड ये होता है कि या तो ट्विन्स हैं एंड दे आर इन डिफरेंट डायरेक्शंस, और थर्ड इज कि जो प्लेसेंटा होता है वो समटाइम्स यूटरस के, मैं यहाँ पे डायग्राम बनाने की कोशिश करती हूँ, समटाइम्स यूटरस के निचले हिस्से में अगर प्लेसेंटा जुड़ा हुआ होता है, ठीक है, और यहाँ से नाल है, so then in such a condition also one has to go for a cesarean. ठीक है, तो ऐसे उन्होंने काफी सारी कंडीशंस बताई हैं, एंड दिस इज डन सो दैट वी एंश्योर कि बोथ मदर एंड चाइल्ड आर सिक्योर. तो इंटेंशन इज टू सिक्योर, है ना, एंड फ्रॉम दैट इंटेंशन द ऑपरेशन इज डन. फिर हम आते हैं नेक्स्ट चैप्टर पे, जिसका नाम है आयुर्वेदीय मैटरनिटी होम. इस चैप्टर में ये बताया गया है कि कैसे इन आयुर्वेदा, और मे बी easily 500 years back, there must have been several such centers, where a woman can come in her 9th month, okay, and she will deliver there and be very secure, ठीक है, and free from any excess disturbances. ठीक है, so इसका जो description आया है कि how is this this facility to be made, how is this maternity home to be made, so उसमें they are mentioning the use of several herbs. okay, बड़ा interesting है. The name of the herbs they have given are those which are actually krumigna. So in Ayurveda there is a term, it's called krumigna. ठीक है, so it means कि if there is any form of infection around, तो वो उसका by nature वो उसको खत्म कर देगा, या it will not allow any bacterial growth to happen, उसको वो allow ही नहीं करता है. ठीक है, so I'll just name those herbs, and one of them is बेल, है ना, बेल पत्र जिसको बोलते हैं, तो बेल का जो पूरा ट्रंक है उसको यूज करते हैं. The other is soap berry tree. Soap berry means ये जो रीठा का जो पेड़ होता है. Then is khadir. Khadir is another very important tree and used for several skin problems also. And the last is tendu. Tendu is very commonly found in the Madhya Pradesh forest. ठीक है, and इसके काफी बड़े पत्ते होते हैं, and in the tribal area it is used as बीड़ी की तरह यूज करते हैं, and in Ayurveda you can use it to get rid of any pest, तो pest repellent की तरह होता है तेंदू. ठीक है, so this is a very interesting finding. When I read this I was like, oh wow, this is so cool. So you have an entire home which is naturally free of infections and bacteria just by the nature of it. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है. Then comes that in this maternity home, of course, you have a separate kitchen, okay? And then, of course, you have a midwife who is there to take care of you. And before the lady enters this maternity home, she is supposed to do a nice havan, ठीक है? किसी को बुला के जो हवन करते हैं, they do a havan and they ensure that she enters safely into this maternity home. The purpose being कि now she needs to be, closely watched over. So what is happening during her labor? Is she in her inactive phase, active phase? What does she need? Okay, so all her needs are met with. So when actually the pain begins, actually what is happening is the apan vayu is increasing. You guys remember we talked about this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, अरे कहाँ चला गया? Yeah. So apan vayu is the one that ensures a proper delivery. And indirectly it means it is responsible for the hormones flow at the time of delivery. That is why apan vayu is so crucial according to Ayurveda. मतलब हम भले ही पूछते रहेंगे आपका पेट साफ हुआ कि नहीं, because it is also responsible for proper excretion. ठीक है? But actually we are assessing all these things. ठीक है? So ये जो hormones का flow है, ये अपान वायु करती है at the time of delivery. And that's when also one has to give basti. Okay? So basti dena hai. Of course, this has to be done under the Ayurvedic physician. ठीक है? And applying oil. So when the lady is in active delivery or she's having pain, labor pain is coming and going, you actually apply oil. Which oil? The best is castor oil. Okay? The best is castor oil in her condition. If you don't have castor oil, then of course, then till oil is the next best. ठीक है? Through this way, you're actually ensuring a proper flow of the vayu. Okay? So in short and long, this chapter is talking about how people had maternity homes and people had a way to take care of the lady. Okay? So are you all with me? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Do you have any queries? Yes or no?
No, no.
No. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to the next part, which is nursing of the newborn. अब इसका क्या मतलब है? Nursing of the newborn का. Which means that once the delivery is happened, how will you take care of the newborn? ठीक है? क्योंकि until now the baby in the womb was drawing nutrition through the umbilical cord, ठीक है? And drinking the amniotic fluid in between. ठीक है? The other difference is कि अभी तक when the baby is in the womb, तब तक बेबी को डायरेक्टली नोज से ब्रीदिंग करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. ठीक है? Which means that the baby is not using his or her lungs. And that oxygen is reaching through the nutrition directly. So when the baby comes in the outside world, दो काम होते हैं. एक, the baby's lungs are activated, and two, now the nutrition will be through the mouth. ठीक है? तो ये जो transition होता है from the womb to the outside world is bringing a huge transformation. और इस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के लिए आयुर्वेदा में काफी सारा ध्यान दिया जाता है. Okay. And then the next part of this chapter will talk about ki how should the room be of the baby. मतलब जहाँ पे one is the maternity home itself, जहाँ पे the mother has, I mean the pregnant woman has delivered. But what all do you have to take care in that room? What all do you have to keep in the room? Okay. तो इस पे थोड़ा सा इस chapter में बताया है. So first of all, according to Ayurveda, once the baby is out, the baby cries, and the cry of the baby just means that now the lungs are being used. ठीक है? अब lungs use हो रहे हैं. ठीक है? So इसी के साथ the next thing जो according to Ayurveda it is done is actually to give a small chartan. You know, थोड़ा सा कुछ चटाते हैं. So what they do is currently in the hospital they just clean the mouth with a swab, ठीक है? But in Ayurveda what is done by a Vaidya is कि थोड़ा सा rock salt and ghee को मिला के उसको चटाते हैं. And that actually helps the baby to, you know, the baby starts to, you know, remove the dirt in the जो भी stomach में रहता है, it comes out in the form of a vomiting. And उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट काम किया जाता है वो है हनी एंड घी.
जी, can you hear?
Yes.
What is चटाते हैं मतलब?
Like a licking.
Okay.
Little paste, you have to just smear it on the tongue. Okay. Once this rock salt ghee is given, the baby will slightly vomit. It's a slight vomiting. ना ऐसा नहीं बहुत सारा vomiting हो रहा. It will be like as if the baby is just coughing out. Okay. And lot of saliva will come out basically. After that, you have to give another thing for the baby, and that is honey and ghee. ठीक है? So honey and ghee is given to the baby to lick. Okay. And this is a very, very, what do you say? In Ayurveda, this is emphasized time and again that before the baby feeds on mother's milk, first thing you give is honey and ghee mix karke. And traditionally, there is a combination they prepare beforehand itself. And that combination is basically, we'll read about it in the next few chapters. Basically, they take a gold ring and they rub it on the stone. Okay, two times stroked, and a little bit of vacha. Vacha is a very important herb. Okay, vacha. So vacha is taken, and gold is basically rubbed on the stone twice. Okay, and this vacha is taken in a very small quantity, just like half a pinch maybe. Okay, and ghee and honey is added, and this mixture is given to the baby. The first thing that the baby takes in to the system is this combination. Okay, so this is to just let you know that Ayurveda has a certain way of looking at taking care of babies, and it's quite a different approach. Okay, so this is what is done, and after that what is done is that in the room where the baby is, okay, you keep this vacha herb is kept in a small cotton potli. So wherever the baby is sleeping, very close to that, next to the pillow, you just keep a small, maybe like a 2.5 gram vacha piece, okay, and you let it be around the baby. And basically this herb is considered to have a rakshogna effect. I'll talk about it. Rakshogna effect means there are certain herbs that by the mere impact of its presence, it is able to take care of the energies, or energies ke angle se it takes care. So it wards off any lower energies. So like mantras, you can say. So just as mantras have a vibratory effect, and so it protects, okay, or takes care, Similar way, vacha is one such herb that protects, okay, or words of, you will hear this word, evil, evil energies.
हेलो
Who's that? Okay.
अच्छा फिर से
Harshada
लगाओ
ji.
क्या
Okay. So that's about vacha, and that's also about how the baby is kept well. Okay. So the room, of course, has to be clean. And of course, you have to give this honey ghee vacha combination with gold. And you keep the vacha herb wherever the baby is being slept. Okay.
One question: this honey ghee vacha gold combination is a daily thing or it's a one time?
So now it depends from different practices. So according to one practice, children are given daily till they are 2 years of age. Okay. And then there is something called as Swarna Prashan, which means that on a certain time, which comes, I think, every 3 months, all the Vaidyas prepare this similar medicine and they give it to the child till they are 12 years of age. Okay. So it's like undergoing a kind of vaccination so that the body becomes better and better. But this vaccination is a broad spectrum vaccination. So it's not, it's only for measles, it's only for that, it's only for this. This is like a broad spectrum vaccination. So this is done every day till 2 years of age. And the quantity keeps changing. Okay. And after that, every Pushya Nakshatra, they call it Pushya Nakshatra. Okay. This is a constellation. When this constellation rises, that's when Swarna Prashan is done for children till they are 12 years of age. Okay. Yeah. Now, of course, the naming ceremony is done around the 10th day. Now, what to do of the mother? Okay. तो ये तो हो गया बेबी के बारे में कि हाँ चलो बेबी को हमने ये सब खिला दिया and then the baby is breastfed. Okay, breastfed is the best way to take care of children. In fact, the next chapter is all about that. Okay. And what about the mother? What will you give to the mother? So in this chapter of nursing the newborn, it's very important what kind of food is the mother having, because only then she will be able to feed. Okay. So in this, they have talked about lots of things, kheer khilao, and there's something called as watercress seeds, yeah, ahli bolte hai. I don't know what we call in Hindi. I think we call it chandrasur. चंद्रसूर बोलते हैं. उसकी खीर बना के खिलाया जाता है. पॉपी सीड्स की खीर बना के खिलाया जाता है. Yeah, anybody saying something?
Yeah, I was just saying it's Chandrasur. It has a lot of iron, no? Iron and that's why it is given.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So different kinds of food are given to the mother, and I'll talk about why this food is given when we go to the chapter number 6. Okay. So that's about that. Now we go to the next chapter, which is the Jata Karma. Okay. अरे वो तो erase हो गया. ठीक है. So Jata Karma Sanskar. So this is the first sanskar which is done once the baby is born. उससे पहले के जो संस्कार थे, that were done when the baby was in the womb. Okay. So Jata word means child, baby. Okay. And Navajat, the word Navajat means newborn baby. Okay. So what is to be done for the baby is known as Jata Karma. So there is one part of it which is the ritual part. Okay. and you all can read the ritual. So उसमें कुछ mantra chantings है ना, you can say it's like a welcoming for the baby who has come. And again, before the baby is breastfed, this aushadhi is given, which is of, as I had mentioned, vacha and swarna, honey and ghee. So after this is done, this is what Jata Karma is all about. So whatever we discuss, the medicine to be given, that is all coming under Jata Karma. The ritual part is something you all can read and see how much you would like to implement. So there is of course the mantra, there is of course what the father needs to do. Okay, so all that in combination is like a welcome for the new baby. That is called as Jata Karma. So a little bit on, when do you cut the umbilical cord? Okay. So when do you cut the umbilical cord? So this umbilical cord is, according to modern science, it is something that is to be cut immediately. Okay. And according to Ayurveda and to a lot of natural birthing processes, now there is another thing which is called as natural birthing. They are coming up with slightly different concept. They are saying that let the umbilical cord dry up by itself. Okay, so what they do is they don't cut the umbilical cord. So here is the baby. Okay, here is the umbilical cord, and this is the placenta. Okay, this is placenta. And this is the umbilical cord. So what they do is, in natural birthing, they will disconnect it from the placenta, that is A type. They will disconnect it and leave the placenta intact till the cord dries up. And it actually takes 7 days to dry. Okay. There is another way wherein you don't cut the umbilical cord from the placenta, you leave it intact with the placenta, with the umbilical cord. You clean this well and keep it in a bag, okay, till the whole thing dries up for 7 days. This requires more hygienic care and all of that. Okay. Now, why do people do this? So there is this, now these are different kinds of logic that people give, that if you leave the placenta attached to the umbilical cord, the nutrition continues to flow into the baby, okay? And therefore, it's like you're building the immunity, the natural innate immunity of the baby. Okay, so the natural innate immunity develops. This is what they say. This is what natural birthing people say. Okay, and at this juncture, I want to share one case. It was not of mine, of one of my mentors. She is based in Chennai. Her name is Vaidya Girijaji. PLT Girija. She's a wonderful Ayurvedic practitioner, and she has had the chance to deliver many, children in her center. So there was one such case in which the baby was born, but the baby was not breathing. Okay, the baby was not breathing. So what to do if the baby is not breathing? So then what they did was, they had not disconnected the umbilical cord with the placenta. So they took warm water in a big bowl, okay, and they put the placenta inside this. The baby is, of course, out. Okay. And they did resuscitation by pumping the placenta. Yeah, I forgot to mention the baby was not reviving from artificial resuscitation. So they tried artificial resuscitation. Okay. It did not happen. The baby was not able to breathe even after that. So what they did was, when they put this placenta in the water, they started pumping it. And within a matter of 5 minutes, the baby became normal again. So this is just to tell you the importance of placenta and how this was used by the traditional Indian midwifery tradition, okay, which is now almost non-existent. Okay, and that's how the baby revived, even though artificial resuscitation did not work. Okay, so that's how important placenta is to the baby, even when the baby is born. Okay, so this is about the cord cutting and how you have now different practices. People are no more sticking to the old fashioned practice. Oh, the baby is come out, okay, cut the cord immediately. No, people are ready, and people are definitely ready to be more accepting, ready to try out all these natural methods rather than going for a lot of antibiotics and all of that. Okay, so this was one experience sharing that I wanted to do, and this is part of actually Jataka. Okay, now the next part is breastfeeding. Of course, this is very, very important. And in this book, why have they talked about breastfeeding separately is because there is a entire, we are a new generation wherein, we are not having the time to take care of the newborn baby. Not many mothers who are, maybe working. So maybe after a month or two, they're not able to feed their children. So they resort to canned milk, powdered milk, or maybe it could be cow milk also. Okay? So they're basically depending on outside milk. And this outside milk that the baby is given, because the mother is not able to have the time for breastfeeding, or she's in so much of stress that she's just not able to do it. Okay. This actually causes a lot of problems for the baby. Okay. So initially it is just in the form of, कि constipation हो रहा है, baby is not able to poop properly, frequent cold and cough हो रहा है, baby is being very cranky. ठीक है. But children who do not get this, their mother's milk, in the first 6 months, they have this problem of falling sick throughout their year, throughout their life. Okay, so that is very, very crucial. And in this chapter, they basically try to highlight that this is very, very important, needs to be given that importance. Okay, so all they are saying is that at least take, since you have given birth to this baby, at least nurse the baby for the first 6 months. Okay, so the first 6 months are important for baby to get mother's milk. After 6 months, then gradually the mother has to introduce other foods, okay, and along with that, wean off the breast milk and gradually introduce cow milk. So by the completion of 1 year or 1.5 years, the baby is now introduced to cow milk completely and other forms of simple foods. Okay, it could be like fruit, some seasonal fruit, it could be dal water, it could be rice kanji and many other things, ragi. Okay. So all this is introduced, and by 1 year of age, now the baby can shift to cow's milk completely. Okay. So this is about, the importance of breastfeeding and when you can actually move the baby to the cow's milk. Okay. How much time do we have? It's 1:10. Okay. We just completed 50%. Yeah. So now,
I have
yeah.
2-3 questions if I may ask now.
Yeah. Please ask.
Yeah, first question is regarding breastfeeding. Like, if women are going to office, right, for like 8-9 hours, they are not able to feed.
Yeah.
Then what
That's
is the
right.
option for the child?
Yeah, so they have actually in this book, they have said that look, it's better you feed the baby, and only they, and you basically there in the book they have mentioned that you need to at least do part-time job instead of going to full-time. Okay, this is what the book is saying. And from my perspective, I have seen several kinds of mothers and who are working. And what they used to do, they used to buy a pump. Okay, it's a breast milk. It just pumps out the milk. They can it. They can their own milk, and then when they are not available, that milk is reheated and given to the baby. Okay.
If mother is not giving the milk for, let's say, 8-9 hours, will it affect her health or her milk's health? Any
Actually,
idea?
it will affect both the baby and the mother's health both, because the breast milk secretion is happening time to time to ensure that the baby is well fed. Okay. Now, what is happening if there is nobody to take that food, then gradually that food formation will also reduce. Okay. So the purpose for which the food was being formed, that is not getting fulfilled. So that actually has a negative impact on the mother. Okay. And lot of mothers go into guilt, which is the worst form. Okay. So I feel that, before a mother decides something, it is better to think 100 times before and then make the choice. Because a lifelong guilt will, you'll never be able to forgive yourself. So before you decide, depending on whatever is your situation, okay, one must first look at pros and cons and then make the choice.
Okay. And the second question was regarding the timing of external food. Usually in all these advertisement from government, they say after 6 months you can give soup or something like dal ka pani and all those. The timing is 6 months, or we should wait
Yes,
for it 1
yes.
year?
According to Ayurveda also, after 6 months, they do this Annaprashan. Okay. And basically that is to mean that we are introducing all other kinds of foods now. So of course that list is small. It's not like too many varieties. Okay. For the baby, the more than variety, it is important that we give the right kind of nourishing food. Okay. I've seen a lot of people are not able to make that balance. So they end up changing the food more frequently and the baby remaining hungry more frequently. Okay. Because the baby requires a kind of food to build that kind of nourishment. Okay. Because growth is happening on a daily basis. So growth is happening on a daily basis, that kind of food has to go into the body. That is why dal ka pani is given. That is why ragi is given. That is why, they make the suji ka lapsi, because all these are basically growth promoters. This kind of food is basically a growth promoter. Okay. So all these are to be given versus, giving only and only fruits. No, that is not required. One diet, two diet of fruit is sufficient. But at least per day, the child needs to have 4 good diets. Whether it is only half a katori, that of course that keeps on increasing with as the month passes away. Okay. But the diet has to be given such that the baby, when he or she sleeps at night 9 p.m., should get up only at 4 a.m., not before that. This is one of the key symptoms or key ways to understand whether my baby is eating well or not. If the baby is not eating well or not eating sufficiently, okay, then the baby will keep getting up in the night. Okay. And that actually hampers the growth of the child. So more than the taste of the food, the most crucial thing is what you are giving. Okay. So
Sure. Thank you.
anything else?
That's ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I wanted to add something.
Ji. Who's talking? I'm
I
not
want to add,
I'm
Actually,
not
Sunita auntie, your voice is not audible. Your
hello.
voice is breaking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Auntie, if you can just write in the chat box and we'll take it up after this next topic. Okay. Now, I want to go into what is happening uh, in the, this Sootika or the woman who is just delivered. Okay. So, I want to go into this theory part a little bit just to help us understand why a certain kind of diet is mentioned, why a certain kind of lifestyle is mentioned. Okay. To understand the why part of that, we'll go, the what part, we'll go into the why part. So, when the delivery happens, okay, basically during delivery there is tremendous pain, tremendous. Okay, so it's like you can imagine in your body there are waves and waves of which are coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. That is, and that intensifies as the labor progresses. So the pain is of such high level, okay, that pain is very high. Okay, how do we know? This is how we know. So basically, pain means there is presence of Vayu. Vayu is doing something. So in the time of labor, pain is there, which is really, really high. It's not a simple कि mosquito bite हो गया या फिर हमें fever है वो वाला pain है नहीं. It's a very different kind of pain. So it's first of all the pain is very, very intense. Okay. Second, this pain is such that here your organs are moving, your bones are moving, okay? The muscles are going to move. You see, the process of delivery is such that the entire pelvic girdle actually opens up. Can you imagine your bones, which are not supposed to move in the body, but during delivery, they actually soften and they become slightly flexible. And that's how the baby gets pushed out. So just imagine your bones are becoming soft. Your muscles are becoming even more flexible. Okay. So in this is what is happening at the time of delivery. And once the baby comes out, there is bleeding. And this bleeding also causes exhaustion. This bleeding continues for easily 15 days or 21 days. Okay. Why does this bleeding happen? Simply because now that the placenta has got detached, okay, so that area gets healed. Okay. That area gets healed. So now what happens is there is, so one is the Vayu. This is what it has done. It has moved the organs, it has softened the bones, it has made the muscles even more flexible, and your muscles are basically stretched a lot. Okay, a lot of bleeding has happened, so there is blood loss. So the Rakta Dhatu is also reduced. In such a condition where there is blood loss, all these things have moved in the system so that the baby is delivered. Okay. And once the baby comes out, you know what happens? This uterus, which was carrying the baby and becoming big and big, okay? Uterus is very small. But when it was, as the baby was growing, the uterus size was also becoming big and big. So imagine now the baby is gone and this uterus size is still very big. Okay. So this size has to come back to normal. And so this requires certain kind of help, certain kind of facilitation. Okay. Similarly, all the bones were, made flexible. They were made to become soft. The muscles had stretched. They want to come back to their normal state. That is why a certain kind of ahara and lifestyle is mentioned. Okay. That is why what kind of ahar is given, which has all that does vata shamanam. Now you can imagine whenever we say vata shamanam means it is going to balance the hormones. Take care. 2, it has to help bring the muscles back to normal. 3, the bones which had become soft, they once again need to become hard. So for that, you have a lot of ghee intake. You have different kinds of seeds that are used. So ghee is used, various kinds of seeds are used, like poppy seeds are used, methi seed is used, badam is used. Okay, all these kinds of, जिनको हम मगज बोलते हैं. These are all fruits which are having majja. Okay. And you have basically, yeah, I'm just coming to that. Okay. And there is a lot of dal soups given. Not very, in the first 21 days, the delivered lady doesn't eat a lot of variety. Okay, it's a strict variety. But what is that variety? Either there will be moong or masoor or whatever local dal that is available, that is given. Okay, so at least 2 times she's given dal soup, and dal soup means it's very, very liquidy. Okay. Then there is how you'd ask, what is majja? So majja is that dhatu which provides strength to the organs. Okay. And because of this process of delivery, as I mentioned, the bones have also become soft. The muscles have become overstretched. So from that angle, you need to give that food which brings majja dhatu to normal. This is one of the dhatus which, when it is developed or it is strengthened, then the vata also becomes more and more normal. Okay. Did I connect?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is why in
repeat करेंगे?
Majja dhatu is the one which is being enhanced through all these foods, and through that way the vata is getting more and more balanced. Okay, so this is why, that is why a certain kind of diet is given to the to the prasuta. What do we call in Sanskrit? We call it the Sootika. The one who is just delivered, the word used is Sootika. Suta means child, the one who is just given the child, Sootika. And along with that, you'll have a certain kind of lifestyle also. Why? Because she is so exhausted that you'll have to take care so that the organs come to their normal position, normal strength, the bones becomes hard again, the muscles come back to normal size and shape. And the Rakta Dhatu, the bleeding that has happened, you have to bring it back to normal. Okay. So that is why all this diet is given. And what does a lifestyle have? Abhyangam. Lot of oil is given for oiling the whole body. So what kind of oils are used? Ksheer Bala oil. Okay. 2, what else is done to the mother? She is asked to take bath always with hot water. And to undergo medicated smoke. ठीक है? What does it mean? So actually, once the lady has undergone abhyangam, she's taken a hot water bath, then what they do is they take certain kinds of herbs, they burn it, okay, and the smoke that comes out from these herbs, that is allowed to reach throughout the body. Okay, so the main herb which is used is for this purpose is nirkundi. Nirkundi is used, and a lot of shunti is used, and karam is used. Karam meaning ajwain. Okay, so these are burnt, and the entire smoke is allowed to enter her body by keeping that smoke below the cot in which she's sleeping. Of course, the cot has to be, the one that is made out of rope, so that the smoke can reach her body. And along with that, there is one other thing that is done, that the medicated smoke is allowed to reach the vaginal tract. Okay. So she is made to stand over these herbs that are smoking, so that the smoke reaches into the vaginal tract. And this ensures proper healing process. Okay. This ensures that if there is any vata remaining in that area, that is removed. Okay. Now, for those who want to know into deeper why this smoke is doing all this, for that you'll have to understand the interconnection of the basic principles. Just like if we don't understand molecules, we cannot understand chemistry, we cannot understand the human biochemistry. Just as if we don't understand cell, we cannot understand the human body cellular system. Similarly, if you want to understand how Tridosha works, how these medicines are selected, you need to know what is the theoretical background of Tridosha. Okay. So that's a little about why, a certain ahara is given, why a certain lifestyle is followed. After delivery, it's not that the mother keeps sleeping throughout the day. No, in fact, it's a very strict regimen. According to Ayurveda, we call it, this ahara and vihara, we call it Sootika Paricharya. So just as there is a Garbhini Paricharya, okay, so Garbhini Paricharya, similarly, you have a Sootika Paricharya. So in Ayurveda, they have just found the definiteness of doing the things. Okay. If I'm asked that why so many things are being told, because they're very clear, yeah, that fun or so-called happiness does not lie in food and sleep. So you just do the food and sleep so that you ensure a proper health. Okay. And so there is a lot of definiteness in the diet and lifestyle for a common man, for a garbhini, for a child, for a delivered lady, for an old person. There is some level of definiteness.
शेफाली जी 1:30 हो रहा है, तो कैसा करना है अभी?
हाँ, तो I have completed how many chapters? ठीक है. So from this now अभी मुझे आप केवल 2 चीजें और बतानी है. ठीक है. बाल गुट्टी एंड स्वर्ण वचा को मैं एक ही लाइन में कंप्लीट कर रही हूँ कि these are Ayurvedic methods of building the child's strength and prevent diseases for the future. Okay? इसको आप लोग अपने नोट्स बना लीजिएगा और इसको आप इम्प्लीमेंट कीजिएगा. Okay? These are very, very useful. The last is crying of the child, जिसको मैं एड्रेस करूंगी, एंड 10th पॉइंट आई हैव ऑलरेडी एड्रेस्ड by telling you how the physiology is connected to the ahara, to the lifestyle. ठीक है.
आपका कुछ बच गया है ना, सुवर्ण बच्चा और बाल गुट्टी को थोड़ा सा अपन कल भी डिटेलिंग में आराम से ले सकते हैं.
तो कल मतलब सभी लोग पढ़ के आ सकते हैं और वो मेरे से डाउट पूछ सकते हैं कि वो कैसे करना है, कहाँ से मिलेगा, where do you find it, ये आप मेरे से पूछिएगा.
क्योंकि
ठीक
ये
है।
महत्वपूर्ण चैप्टर है, जनरली ये करते समय बहुत पता नहीं होता।
हाँ
आप इस पर थोड़ा और अच्छे से बता देंगे सारे के डाउट्स के साथ, तो बढ़िया हो जाएगा।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। तो ये कल हम लोग कर लेते हैं। और
कल हम कितने
आज
बजे मिल रहे हैं?
कल हम लोग 11 o'clock बात किए थे ना शायद।
11 o'clock कल मिले, सबके लिए ठीक है ना? कल हमारा लास्ट डे है।
हाँ,
और
yes.
आप लोगों प्लीज अपने अपने वीडियोज और अपने अपने राइटअप के साथ तैयार रहिएगा।
बिल्कुल ठीक है। तो ये न्यूनेटल केयर इज ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट। और ये डिलीवर्ड लेडी का क्या हालात होते हैं, फिजियोलॉजिकल हालात, more we understand that, more we can understand why a certain ahara and vihara is mentioned. ठीक है। तो क्राइंग ऑफ द चाइल्ड, इसको भी हम कल ले लें या आज ही कंप्लीट कर लें?
कल ले लेते हैं ना आराम से। कल आप पहले आधी घंटा ले लीजिएगा,
ठीक है।
उसके बाद हम आधी पौन घंटा में अपनी शेयरिंग कर लेंगे। 4 ही लोग तो हैं, आराम से हो जाएगा।
ठीक है।
फर्स्ट हाफ एन आवर आप आराम से, जैसे बाल घुटी, सुवर्ण बच्चा, क्राइंग, ये सारे चैप्टर को आप बढ़िया से ले लीजिएगा।
ठीक 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 ठीक।
बढ़िया।
तो इस पे हम अभी रुकते हैं। क्रक्स मैंने आपको बता ही दिया है कि व्हाई दिस काइंड ऑफ आहार विहार इज मेंशन्ड, व्हाई ऑल दीज थिंग्स हैव बीन मेंशन्ड। सो इतना ज्यादा क्यों बताया? बिकॉज इस पूरे साइंस का एक फिलोसॉफिकल बैकग्राउंड है। एंड द फिलोसॉफिकल बैकग्राउंड इज सेइंग, देखो खाओ, सो, अच्छे कपड़े पहनो, बट क्या उससे आपको हैप्पीनेस मिल जाएगा? क्या वो नहीं होगा। सो क्योंकि इसका फिलोसॉफिकल बैकग्राउंड ये है, दैट इज व्हाई दे हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट डेफिनेटनेस इन एवरी स्टेज ऑफ लाइफ। ठीक है।
तो कल मिले फिर, थोड़ा सा वन लाइन में टेक अवे ले लेते हैं, ठीक रहेगा?
ठीक है मैडम।
हाँ जी।
इसमें एक्चुअली काफ़ी कुछ था, मेनली इसमें पोस्ट डिलीवरी एंड पोस्ट डिलीवरी के ऊपर था। तो इसमें मेन ये एक है कि डिलीवरी के टाइम काफ़ी मदर को जो है काफ़ी कुछ पेन होता है, तो उसके लिए पूरा एक प्रोसेस है कि डिलीवरी अच्छी नेचुरल हो। और आफ्टर डिलीवरी दे शुड टेक केयर ऑफ द बेबी एंड द मदर बोथ। मदर को भी पूरा एक प्रोसेस है उसको फॉलो करना चाहिए, बेबी के लिए भी पूरा प्रोसेस है फॉलो करना चाहिए। और मदर फीडिंग इज द बेस्ट थिंग फॉर द चाइल्ड। ये छोटा सा समरी आज का।
ग्रेट। पावनी जी।
These days, after delivery, people are facing a lot of postnatal depression. I'm trying to connect all of that because so many things that you told are not fulfilled. Like the Rakta Dhatu reduces and the Majja Dhatu has to be given. See, and Vayu factor has to be reduced. See, all of these things are not happening. So naturally, the mothers are into postnatal depression. Probably if these things, everything that you told, if these things are fulfilled, probably the mother will remain happy with a certain lifestyle and the food habits and everything. That's my takeaway.
Wonderful. Anamika ji.
Yeah, so like before, like during the pregnancy, जितना care जरूरी है, after the delivery also, like child का किस तरह से, जैसे ही वो deliver हुआ वहां से ही उसका शुरू हो जाता है जात कर्म संस्कार से हर्ब्स वगैरह, जो कि आजकल पूरा एक्सटिंक्ट हो चुका है ऑलमोस्ट, मतलब मैंने किसी का सुना नहीं है, so it is like almost extinct. तो ये सारा कुछ उसी तरह से प्रोसेस में करना है। और बहुत सारे हर्ब्स हैं जैसे आपने बोला, और इसके अलावा जो पोस्ट नेटल केयर है बच्चे की, और इवन जो सूतिका है, मदर है, किस तरह से धूपन और मसाज और लाइक सारा उद्वतन, ये सारा कुछ यदि प्रोसेस में रहेगा तो जो पूरा जो बता रहे हैं, जैसे पावनी जी ने बोला कि जो सारा जो महाभूत है उनके वापस से जो भी डिस्टर्बेंस थोड़ा सा भी हुआ होगा वो वापस से रीस्टोर होगा। तो उससे जो है बेबी भी और मदर भी, उनकी मदर की रिकवरी जल्दी होगी, हीलिंग जल्दी होगी, और बेबी जो है वो हेल्दी होगी।
नाइस। सुनीता आंटी। हर्षदा जी,
I'm audible?
लिटिल बिट, पूरा ऑडिबल नहीं है।
पूरा ऑडिबल नहीं है भाभी।
ओके, तो मैं रहने देती हूँ, बाद में ही फिर कल करती हूँ, क्योंकि दो
जी,
तीन बातें
जी।
थी मैं शेयर करना चाहती थी, पर इट्स नॉट ऑडिबल, सो देन आई
कल हम डिटेलिंग में आपका सुनते हैं। 11 बजे हम आएंगे और
हाँ,
12:30 तक का टाइम मान कर चलेंगे, है ना। थोड़ी सी शेफाली जी डिटेलिंग में रखेंगे। आप लोगों ने अपने जो मिनी बुक बना रहे हो उस पर कहाँ पहुंचे हैं, है ना। बाकी हम डिटेलिंग में कल बात करेंगे 12:30 तक आराम से। ठीक है का? चलिए, बाय बाय, नमस्ते।
बाय,
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
Okay, madam.